Well, consistently, but Pix might be shutting this one down. No.
But Pix, no. Just eats the opening shot. Sky and Scroll. Gonna create a little bit of space. Maybe just a warning shot for the time being. Comeback and Pix. It's not the first time that they've gone for those kinds of stealth opportunities, but we haven't really seen it now, Takada. Still like the fact that they're trying to be proactive here, though. But Sky and Scroll just a little bit too aware for that to go down.
Yeah, down to 11. Shield is now a lot of kind of duos in the surrounding area just looking for little picks, little tags where they can get them. As Chino and Pablo now trying to find Kira, who's just has the med kit in hand, crouching behind a little air vent here. Hopefully the teams at Steamy don't see him.
Pablo and Chino are destroying this building from the inside out, though. Absolutely gutting it. They know Akira is somewhere nearby. I think he might have just had that last chance to finally start using the med kit without being spotted, but yeah, there's definitely still trouble brewing for Kira. Sky, though, collapsed on by Chap and Flixie. That is a huge blow.
Oh,
no. Gonna do what he can to try and escape. Nearly shot out of the sky one more time there by Chap, but Chap, Flixie, they are on the move, doing everything in their power to see if they can eliminate Sky and Scroll permanently. And one more time, they'll take out Scroll. But Chap, Flixie, they don't know where Sky is just yet. They've got to get back towards the high ground. Sky just trying to get as far away as possible, doing everything to try and dodge around it, but he is not safe.
Yeah,
so many teams just surrounding.
With Flowberry, crash pads, launch pads, shockwaves, all the mobility needed to kind of hunt down these players after they get knocked. Makes it that much more difficult. Saren picks off C though. Done a good job securing a bit of loot here. Malabuka went down as Vico now is forced to kind of keep themselves in the game.
Still enough leftover supplies though at Slurpy Swamp for Vico and Malabuka that they don't feel too heavily pressured just yet. But 4 eliminations, you can definitely tell that they are just absolutely trying to tear through this lobby on a little bit of a revenge tour here. Shark, Teeny, they've got Darm in their sights. They are incredibly healthy in comparison to their Polish counterpart, but Darm, he's just dancing around. He will eventually be knocked. There's nowhere to escape to. Shark and Teeny profit yet again with a nice cleanup opportunity.
I mean, despite being in third with only a 4-point difference from Pablo and Chino, which would knock them out of qualifying range, they are still playing incredibly confident and aggressive. Minori now. Darkos playing it a bit slower. No eliminations on the board yet, but they are incredibly healthy.
Proof of just how vicious that reboot cycle can become, though, the moment that some of our leading teams, and it seems like they're trying to take matters into their own hands too. Shark and Teeny have been very deliberate with who they've been applying pressure towards. Given that they haven't been directly contested at Dirty Docks, it gives them openings to, you know, head a little bit west, since Twek and Midro have been kind of pocketed between Slurpy Swamp and Dirty Docks. It's very feasible, I think, for Shark, Teeny, Sky Scroll, and other heavy hitters on the leaderboards to start doing what they can to try and eliminate the competition. Kiro and Ping are playing exclusively for the late game here, though, with this dead side rotate.
Yeah, won't be seeing them for a bit, but Pink and Haris now trying to see if they can secure this drop quickly. This Vexy and Co. close by, kind of eyeballing it as well. Want to make sure there's no opponent's builds. Potential double spray, but no. Looking back, Malabuka, Vico continuing their wrath as Kira now has no shields to work with. Just a little med miss grenade, but is that going to be enough?
Malabuka doesn't care what Kira has. All he wants is the elimination. Same case scenario there for Vico. They're going to continue to try and hound this player down. But every single opening opportunity, it's just leading to the same thing. They know that they need every single one of these eliminations.
I just hope they don't kind of overextend here and end up getting knocked down before they even have a chance to play that late game. But, I mean, they're looking incredibly comfortable now. Running a bit low on mats, but the confidence is definitely still there. Clean shot connected by Malabuka, recuperating a bit of that loot, as now he's going to continue playing this one out. Vico is a bit split from him, but, you know, luckily enough, nobody's pushing him. No danger in sight as Momsy
They're willing to play the long con here. See if they can get another elimination onto Rytex. This Chap, Flixie, hanging out. But Vico and Malabuka, they are looking for that big point game here at Takata, and they might be able to find it. 6 eliminations already. They're definitely going to need quite a few more, though, and a solid placement to turn things around.
No, I got faith, though. I see it. I see the vision. Can they execute on it, though? They've done a good job recuperating the materials, getting the utility and loot that they need. Early game, but we'll see if they can actually capitalize on it now. Teeny Shark doing a good job getting ahead. Not too much danger so far for these players as everyone kind of just solidifies a spot for themselves in this 7th zone. Chino, Pablo maximizing any bit of time they have, whether it be recuperating mats, whether it be planning the next rotate. Even if you don't know where the zone's going to pull, you can always kind of have in the back of your mind, if it goes here, what I'll do. If it goes here, what I'll do, depending on where your opponents are based up at. Reboots, like Taco was mentioning, completely disabled. Let's see if Malabuka and Vico can make a miracle come through here. Oh no, the shots! Too many connecting onto Malabuka. He's been fully cracked. As Vico is going to do what he can to support his teammate. Malabuka just has to stay up. as Wavy goes down shortly after, leaving Josh as a solo as well. Mappy is going to be one of the players up above holding on, but Sky and Scroll, they're back in action once again. A rough start, but now back in business as they get ahead of zone. Just careful from above as the shots might come through. Lucia, Mappy now doing what they can to hold on to it. Pablo Chino, good job getting ahead. Not too many knocks coming through so far, but I might have spoken too soon as Vexy does go down.
Vexy just caught in the mix. Nowhere left to scramble towards. Scroll, Sky, trying to see if they can capitalize on the chaos that's unfolding directly next to them, though. And Teeny, Shark, Teeny, he's going to try to make a play for the revive. Keep in mind, it's only 4 seconds. Very feasible, and sure enough, there'll be a functional duo yet again, but Lusha and Mappy just applying so much pressure onto all of these teams that are just getting caught up inside of these mid and low ground layers. Minori just staring to see if there's any kind of a solo clutch placement. Every little bit counts at this stage. Scroll, Sky, still working through it. And the material count's not exactly where they want it to be, but considering how scuffed everyone else is around them, they'll be able to make use of it. They're going to get a move on now, heading straight for the front side of zone.
Until there's 12 duos left, so a lot of points still to be had. Sky and Scroll do not want to give up the lead they've secured in these previous matches as Chap gets knocked down. Shark and Teeny forced to play the low ground, but Lucia and Mappy doing a great job holding above, but they're just left with wood now.
Yeah, but Flixie, he's all by his lonesome. Doesn't get the shots that he was hoping for. Teeny and Shark just moving too quickly, but Slurpy's gonna buy him a little bit of time here. He's gonna choose to shockwave from way back side of zone straight towards the front, but Mappy and Lusha, they just look completely uncontested in the high ground currently. Kiro, Bing, they're actually gonna see other players drop from above. Sato and Monty, it comes at such a steep cost. The eliminations just tallying up, but Lusha and Mappy have had to forfeit the high ground, and they might have forfeit so much more than that in terms of positioning. They might get caught up, but one more shockwave. Only Momsy left to try and challenge them for it. The Memis grenade gonna buy them even more time to heal up here. 2 shockwaves remain now for Lusha, and Momsy is forced to drop. He knows he can no longer challenge this as a solo. Sky all the while just trying to find some eliminations inside of the low ground.
What a bailout from the Medmis grenade as Sky now still has 2 in his inventory alongside 4 shockwaves. All the utility he needs, but the issue is playing as a solo. Once you get cracked, all eyes are on you as the Medmis grenade is going to get popped. Some shields now as well as he's doing what he can to stay up. Only 9 builds to work with. If he could find a refresh here, that would mean everything for making it further.
Just trying to see if he could drop Rydex into his box. Instead, Rydex gonna be dropped straight into the water. Chino, Pablo, Malabuka, and Vico, 9 eliminations already. Shark in tatters, Teeny too, but they're still making it work somehow, some way. A Sky, no builds, no life left. Malabuka and Vico, though, with 11 eliminations now. They knew that they had to pack a steep punch on this lobby to make a comeback, to prove that there's no reason they should ever have been last place on that leaderboard in the first place. But now Shark, Teeny, they need a refresh. They need to get some kind of siphon. Vico gonna go for the immediate challenge. Forces out the high ground, but it's been chopped. Grappler barely gonna save Vico's life, but he has lost Malabuka. Finally, they'll be shut down, but a nice run in the end game. That's gonna be some very good points for the leaderboard. Lusha still holding on. Shark and Teeny might have just pulled off a masterclass finesse here. They've taken over height, and they're dropping straight down onto Momsy, looking for that last elimination to spell out their first victory royale. But they've still got to get the job done. Momsy doing everything he can to delay. Momsy might have actually turned this one around. Momsy's got control of the build. Sends Sharks falling way back. Teeny doesn't have anything either. And Momsy with the shockwave plays of a lifetime here to steal away the victory royale from Shark and Teeny.
It started in Dirty Docks, it ended in Dirty Docks. The duos that were contesting each other battled it out for that victory royale, but Momsy and Sato were the ones that were able to close it out in a 2v1. So much chaos, I don't even know what we just witnessed, but there's 3 people that can tell us that, so let's head over to the desk.
Thank you very much, Gareth. Mumsy and Sato were the highest damage dealers of the Heats for Qualifier 1, and now they're showing they can steal a victory royale away from Shark and Teeny 11-2K.
Yeah, look, that game, it sort of, in many ways, went exactly as I thought it would towards the end. You had, you know, Lush's team on height who were holding it quite well. They were doing a good job to work with the mats they had. You had Vico and Metabuku's team who you knew were going to be hungry to just cycle height and try and take it. Shark and Teeny were waiting in the wings for a late height take. That ends up playing out. I think the right game going as it progressed. Mumsy towards the end there, being able to clutch up like that, they sort of went straight under the radar and were able to, again, have a sensational game to finish things out there.
Yeah, and I know Nick Aether is seething at how the last 3 games have ended right now as Shockwave plays. Firing someone straight in the zone. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always meta if you're high to save 1 or 2. It's kind of what we've just seen for the last, like I just mentioned, 3 matches already. If you're on height, you can throw people into Storm. If you're down low, you can Shockwave straight up at height and take it. There's a reason that all these players aren't using them that much earlier in the match.
It's been a really exciting game though, guys, because as you can see with Mumsy and Sato, a huge number of eliminations to their name. We'll talk about this after the break, the fact that we're seeing so much more aggression here. But the fact that these two were both able to make it to the end game together despite this aggression and pull it off 11 is really exciting, and it makes me even more excited for the next few games.
Yeah, look, this was a team who in the Heats was on fire, right? And they were showcasing their biggest strengths, which is their firepower. And so it's nice to see that sort of come into play today, again, against 2 players who they really would have wanted to get a win over, right? In Teeny and Shark. So, yeah, I'm sure that'll be one of the most satisfying wins we've seen today.
Well, the lobby has certainly taken things up a gear. We'll be talking about how after this break. over halfway through our first qualifier 1 final, the Fortnite Reload Elite Series, and oh my goodness, our duos are now cooking. It was unfortunate for Teeny and Shock that they weren't able to put off the victory royale, Mumsy and Sato taking it away from them at the last moment, but this duo has been entertaining us endgame after endgame, Breeze Hub. Teeny, he seems like that clutcher for them. Shark, though, what a young gun. He's so impressive to watch.
Absolutely, and like he's putting up the numbers right now. Before this match, he had 10 eliminations across the first 4, which is the second highest. Endgame, he does actually get knocked, and he gets him full into the box. Teeny gets him back in, throws some of the med mist down, and revives him, which is an absolute crucial play. You know, if you've got a player on your team as strong as Fraggen in Endgame, as Shark, I'm doing everything I can to get him back up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, see Shark sort of having his true ascension, right? Last year was the, you know, he sort of burst onto the scene, but the results weren't really following that hype. I think in 2026, we're starting to see him really position himself in, you know, where his talent clearly deserves to be, higher up on them leaderboards, and now sitting in first place after game 4.
And we were expecting to see Chino and Pablo Wingu in that top 3, those 3 positions that we will be seeing our duos qualify to the championships in all.